Once a business has taken an understanding of its objectives and about the business environment around it, what it needs to do to go ahead is the fact that it needs to formulate policies to go ahead. Now, a business policy is simply nothing but a general guideline so that everybody working in the organization is on the same page. So what is a business policy? In simple words, it is nothing but a directive or an instruction, a set of instructions rather, to understand the fact that the organization is working with a sense of harmony or with a sense of synchronization, or the activities of various people in the organization are in link with each other, or else things will be very scattered and the business may not go ahead to achieve the objective that it has thought about. Now, what is strategic management and the framework of strategic management process, the strategic management model, and the importance of strategic management will be understood once we are done with the entire syllabus, because that is the best way to understand these three concepts. Okay. Now, once a business has taken an understanding of the environment around, what it needs to do is that it needs to create a vision for itself. Now, I've taken an example here of our very own educational enterprise, MT Educare Limited. Now, the vision is nothing but a roadmap to the company's future in respect to a lot of aspects related to its business activities. As you can see on the screen, the vision of MT Educare is great. That is global reach in education and training. Now, the vision statement of a company is usually something that is not measurable in terms of numbers or statistics. So, the vision is basically a long-term roadmap to the company's future. Now, on the basis of vision, a business will establish its goals and objectives, which are certainly measurable. And the goals and objectives of a business have to be realistic. They don't have to be too practical nor too imaginary. Because if the goals are too practical, they've not set high goals. And if the goals are too imaginary, probably unrealistic goals may be set. So goals and objectives will be set after considering the vision of a company. We can search on the internet for n number of companies in terms of its vision statement. Now, on the basis of the vision, it will establish goals and objectives, which are to be met within a certain timeline. And what the company does is nothing but its mission. So, the mission of MT Educare is to emerge as the premier, holistic and accessible education provider that helps students from all walks of life empower their mental faculties through building a strong and resilient foundation. Now, the mission of MT Educare simply conveys what MT Educare is into actually. So, the mission of MT Educare will give answer to the question what MT Educare does currently and what is it into. And the vision of MT Educare will give an answer to the question where it wants to reach in the long run. And on the basis of vision, obviously we understood that the goals and objectives are set. And mission is basically where a business is currently. Vision is where it wants to reach in the long run, in the larger perspective. And goals and objectives is nothing but basically a milestone that it wants to reach, so that in the long run it can reach the vision. Now, the way to achieve the goals and objectives is nothing but a strategy. A strategy is a tool to achieve the goals and objectives, and a business may follow various strategies available, which we are going to learn in chapter 4. There are various strategies that a business can use, and that we're going to learn in chapter 4, as I just mentioned. We've also understood one of the strategies that a business may follow, and that was the second objective of business, which was stability. Now, if a business thinks that it is not the right thing to go ahead in terms of growth, a business will adopt a stability strategy. Now, for example, all the big businesses were following a stability strategy, most of the big businesses rather, before the elections took place in May 2014 in India. That is because there was an uncertainty in terms of which political party will win, what changes will they make after winning, which sectors will they support in terms of making new policies, in terms of opening up the doors in various terms, and so on and so forth. So because of the uncertainty and the unpredictability, the businesses obviously were not sure of what is going to come. So they were simply following a fundamental of wait and watch. And that is nothing but a stability strategy. So a stability strategy is a do-nothing strategy, is a wait and watch or a do-nothing strategy, wherein a business will continue functioning in the same market, will continue selling the same products or providing the same services, and will not try anything adventurous as such. So a business is at a particular point right now. That becomes its mission, where it wants to reach in the long run is its vision, which it communicates through a statement. And obviously, the mission also will be communicated through a statement called as the mission statement. And the vision will be communicated through a statement called as the vision statement. And on the basis of which it decides its goals and objectives. And to fulfill those goals and objectives, the way, the path, the tool used will be a strategy. For example, now, Apple wants to sell 8 crore phones. I'm talking about iPhone 6 after it launches. So they plan to sell 8 crore phones in the first 3 months after the launch. Now, this is basically a goal and objective. And the way to achieve this goal and objective will be a strategy. So in simple words here, they are following an expansion strategy. So because they are coming up with a new product, and they would also want to sell in markets where they are not present literally, or where they are very less prevalent. So I hope we have an understanding of what vision is, what mission is, what goal and objective is, and what a strategy is. Now, we need to throw some light on this, that a strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. This is one of the questions asked in your exams, ICAI SM exam. Now, we know about the internal environment and the external environment, and we also know the fact that there are several forces surrounding a business which are controllable, and there are a lot of other forces which are uncontrollable. Now, a business will react to the uncontrollable factors or forces which have an impact on the business. And in a lot of ways, if a business wants to have an edge over the others, what it can do is it can be proactive and go ahead and come up with some innovation or some unique products or unique services. Now, for example, Airtel launched this 1 paise per second scheme for all its postpaid and prepaid users, and the people liked it. People did like it. Now, this was basically a proactive strategy, and all the others followed suit. That was nothing but a reactive strategy. So a business needs to be proactive about various opportunities that it sees, and it should capture all those opportunities and put it into reality. So that is how it can be proactive, and it has to react to the various situations or various forces over which it doesn't have control. And that reacting is nothing but adaptability. So strategy is partly proactive and partly reactive. Now, this same question can be asked in a confused way, whereby they may ask you this as, state whether strategy is proactive or reactive. And a lot of students may get confused and write in the favor of either proactive or reactive. So you need to think about questions that are put straight to you. Now, once a business decides strategies to be followed or a strategy to be followed. Now, those things are decided by the corporate level of management. The corporate level of management decides things, policies, goals for the entire organization. And the various designations that occur at the corporate level of management are Board of Directors, CEO, COO, that is Chief Operational Officer, Chief Financial Officer, Chairman and Managing Director, President and Vice President, and so on and so forth. So these are the people who decide things for the entire organization. So these goals, these policies decided by the corporate level of management for the entire organization are then broken down into departmental goals, into functional goals. Now here at the business level, there are various departments and the designations here are the heads of the various departments. So once things are decided for the entire organization, those goals will be broken down into departmental goals, which will further be broken down into day-to-day activities and implemented accordingly. So we just, some time ago, we took an example of Apple iPhone 6. So the top level management decides that it wants to sell 8 crore iPhone 6 within 3 months of the launch. Now this is something decided by the corporate level of management. Now this will be broken down into departmental goals, which is departments occur at the business level. So the department heads are a part of the business level of management. So what is noteworthy is that the departments like marketing, finance, HR, and so on and so forth will have their own goals, which obviously will be in sync with the main goal of the organization, which is selling 8 crore phones in the first 3 months. So the finance department will allot financial resources, that is capital, accordingly to the various departments. The HR department will train its staff accordingly. The marketing and sales department will be geared up for the forthcoming event. And the production department will make sure that they suffice the requirements in terms of the number of products manufactured. Now, this will be implemented at the functional level of management because the phones will be sold and made at the functional level. The functional level will basically consist of the operational managers. Now, the functional level is also known as the operational level of management because the actual work takes place at the functional level of management. The corporate level of management is more into thinking for the organization. The business level acts as a link between the corporate level and the functional level. And the actual work is taken place at the functional level of management. So this is how things go in an organization. Now, in simple words, let's take for example, MT Educare Limited. The directors of MT Educare Limited decide that they want to start an IPCC batch at a particular date. Now, this is decided for the entire organization. Now, this will be broken down into departmental goals. Now, here the departments mean various subjects and the various branches that are available. So, the various departmental heads, which means the various zonal heads, the various subject heads, that is the academic heads, will make their own goals, which will obviously be in sync with the main goal. The main goal, obviously, as I just mentioned, was to start that IPCC batch on a particular date and complete its portion on a particular date. So the corporate level is more into planning. The business level, at the business level, the goals will be broken down into the various functional goals. And then the actual implementation takes place at the functional level. The teachers, the branch people are at the functional level of management. So these are the people who are actually going to implement these strategies and these goals, which are formulated by the corporate level of management and communicated to the functional level of management by the business level. So I hope we have a clear understanding of the levels of management in an organization. Now, what happens is that an organization will have either of the two policies. Let's just go back to this slide. Now, an organization is obviously run by people. A business is what it is because of its people. A business is controlled and managed by people. And this is in the words of Mr. Peter Drucker, which is so true. Now, the corporate level of management will communicate certain things downwards. Now, if the corporate level, if the whole value system in that organization is workers' participation in management, then what will happen is feedback, suggestions, recommendations will be taken from the functional level and the business level and will be forwarded to the corporate level of management, which will then decide accordingly. Which means the involvement of the lower levels of management is there in the formulation of the vision of a company. We already understood what vision is. Now, if this is the approach towards formulation of a vision, then it is called shared vision. Now, shared vision is simply where the corporate level of management will take suggestions, recommendations from the lower level of management and implement whatever they think will be suitable. On the other hand, vision shared is where the top level management will impose whatever it decides. So it doesn't take suggestions as such. And there is a compulsion for me to follow whatever is communicated to me. I probably cannot give suggestions. Even if I have a better way to do things, I probably cannot even convey it if there is vision shared in an organization. So shared vision is certainly better than vision shared. And shared vision is nothing but a bottom-up approach, and vision shared is nothing but a top-down approach. So in shared vision, there is workers' participation in management, and it is more of a teamwork. And vision shared, it is more of impositions. So to sum it up, shared vision is where a business management follows a little bit of practicality, and vision shared is where they are still into the traditional thinking ideologies.